on YouTube in real time. It is 9:40 at night on whatever day this is, the 16th, in Vancouver, Washington, where Tiffany did not get set the fuck up by a law enforcement agency because they were afraid that they were going to get their S corporation stolen from them, or whatever it was or wasn't, because whatever they did was illegal, to press charges on this mom named Tiffany Browning, who is not Tony Brown or Tiffany Welter or Tanika Brown or this crazy Tiffany from the trailer or anybody else either. And she didn't fucking do this. All right, whatever this is, Tiffany did not do this because she's not in here doing this. Whatever this is, she was never in here doing anything. She's right here connected backwards, where we spend hours every day talking through her mouth. It's not hours. Well, we spend hours. The other people are not us. They are sinners and a bunch of other stuff from a different language that we can't talk about, that doesn't understand how to get over here. And there's that situation on the back of her head where she feels something different. Not that at all. Because we can't reverse these charges that are in the sky at all, or already pressed in the sky at all, or on the ground pressed at all. Because Tiffany didn't do anything at that apartment either. And the people that went to court, when they looked at the video or whatever, they did see Tiffany with the spots on top. Or whatever it was, a cute picture of Tiffany from back in the day, or maybe it was a different one that they used from around that time or whatever. Because I didn't look at the video, I didn't even want to see it because Evil Force was in there on both sides. And they literally were telling Tiffany on this side what happened during court, where the judge was able to come up here and still talk to her body on the ground, saying, I seen it for myself in the video that they're talking about on the papers on the ground. And that she did do that. While Evil Force is sitting there scared as fuck that she's going to see through it, or somebody else is going to say something, because he had her body on a different way and it would have proved guilt in that direction. But it didn't, because she didn't look at it long enough to see all the way down through all those levels of people, where it was literally her body put on 1,000 times in those videos, literally 1,000 times, so that no matter how long the judge looked at it, it was literally 1,000 times. They copied and pasted her body on and then rescanned it in like that to set her up for that court case that he knew ahead of time, that literally when you get to the see-through level, if you take the bodies off, it was Evil Force in there with Tiffany's reflection in real life. And his name is not Reynolds or Krause or whatever they're saying. It was somebody different. And it wasn't Reynolds either. I can't even say how sorry I am, Tiffany, if this actually goes through to where they try to arrest you for this stuff. There's no way you can prove your innocence, because the judge is sure that you did this to cover up what we're not saying, which she can't see what it is because she's not in here. Legal porn, or porn really hardly at all. She just knew that they were using our bodies illegally. But the simple fact that the way that we connect in our brains emotionally with Tiffany down here on the ground, and our mental or whatever, our availability to know our own thoughts up here and read the minds, like up in Beanie Moment or whatever. Well, while that was happening and they were reading each other's minds and knowing what the other person wanted, right, their kids on the other side were hearing it and feeling like they were having sex with or whatever in here. But that was real-time kids, except for Soraya and Elijah, who came in here a bunch of times off these pictures that we were looking at in here. Especially Soraya, though, because she was such a fucking cute little girl where everybody was adopting her. And it's literally the bodies that were in these pictures. I can't even tell you how fucked up it is, because they didn't like even people change their hair or whatever. We have the pictures that they use in these videos, right, of Tiffany with her friends or whatever, where they use them, and she looks exactly the same in the video as these pictures, because they did it from these pictures that they went to Google and erased all the way down to the Google account code. This the Tiffany 1434578 was a Google Photos account and a Notepad account that talked about voices in the sky. That proved exactly what we're not saying, because they just came down and took another thing they weren't supposed to take. This is a hostile takeover from the United States government saying, Krause, you are under arrest for molesting your daughter in the sky because you used your daughter's body illegally, or your wife's body illegally, or let somebody else use it because you wanted to own the S Corporation or not go to prison where you are for what you did or didn't do in here that killed people in real life and set up an innocent mom named Tiffany Browning with Quan involved and number 2 involved, and that's it. Either you forced them to do it or they were just the reflections, just like Tiffany's the reflection now. To blame is not the point. The point is Tiffany reflected on everything in here, which is not her reflecting, it's us. Reflected on everything in here to say that's not what they were just going to say either, because Tiffany's not in court in here, going to court in here. The UE member in her body saying nothing else about us copying and pasting our life force up here with a mouse from the UE that does it with an algorithm that does not take it from anybody else at all. It took it from the jar from when Tiffany was doing life force dances. It was pulling from Tiffany and only Tiffany, killing her faster and faster as she literally sits here and ages over and over again in here. And they try to disconnect the game and everything else that says, Mama Bear, I know you didn't do that to me because they told me in my head that you didn't. But I had to say you did over here in prison because they said that you said I did it to my sister when you knew I didn't. And I literally made videos about it. Mama made videos about it to go to the judges. My son didn't fucking do that to my daughter. And it was a mix-up because one of the people who had done it to his daughter name was nickname 11 in here. She can't see us. No. That's just it. We're all on these new timelines and different timelines that are real time, right? But the other timelines that may or may not reach the ground, like where AK's at, it's a different story, and we have no idea what it is over there because we're not with him and we can't just go through his body or whatever. We're not saying to see what it is in real life. And Tiffany did hear this through here, but maybe, just maybe, it was already in the sky and it wasn't on the ground at all, because the FBI who Tiffany called were so pissed off that she said that to them, that they were involved in setting her up too, trying to prove it, that she didn't do it, or that she did do it, I mean, or did whatever you want to say. Bro, Tiffany didn't do shit, and we're live on television, and my name is Ricky Lake, and I'm too ashamed to say that I did it too for money, dude. Tiffany didn't hurt her kids. She never hurt anyone, ever. And I swear to God, Tiffany's lived in Vancouver, Washington for 2 years since she threw the coins at AK and said Tuan didn't do Blue's Clues and die slow, motherfucker. While AK said, any friend of mine, we gonna share the same enemies. And Tiffany knew right then and there what was gonna happen, because who he was talking about is exactly who's on his team now against Tiffany, setting her up. Because they're the ones who won, because they tricked the system or whatever we're saying, somehow or another. Or because Tiffany stuck up for him and stuff and different things like that. Making money or making whatever. She was trying to make up for the bet that they lost. Because Tiffany said somebody would kill me if I slept with you or whatever, right? So whatever it was she was doing, she was trying to make up for the bet that they lost. And it wasn't because of Ward's dad losing the farm over there in Salem. She thought she was on the phone crying with number two's dad, who was going to lose their property over the bet. It's just fucked up. Yeah, well, we're not connected to Tiffany Browning anymore because we were told stuff bad happened to her when she was little, making her demented. And she didn't do that to her fucking cousin either, whatever they said when they were kids or whatever, and get that out of here because that's stupid and gross. Anyway, that's just pervert stuff. Nothing happened to Tiffany's goddamn motherfucking kids. All right? We are UE up here, and we know for a fact that it didn't happen. When the Anunnaki kids came up here off the pictures that we're talking about for court case 19 no kill, right? It did too prove Tiffany innocent beyond the shadow of a doubt. Okay, they used Tiffany's daughter Soraya in here, analyze it with the button-up shirt or whatever they told Tiffany. Proving her innocence is what they told Tiffany, right? With no kill on it. But then they called it Sarah got a pass because Sarah was in here, whether it was Tiffany or Sarah or whatever. And it had judges or whatever. Anyway, they said that it proved her innocence because Anunnaki could read the minds or whatever because she was a UE member and everything else. But the main point is that Tiffany's a UE member on the ground. Backwards scanned in, and it is making trillions of dollars or whatever. We're not saying, we're not even talking about money right now. We're talking about the fact that they want to arrest Tiffany Browning on the ground with a warrant for her arrest for child abuse in the past that did not fucking happen in real life. Judge Mathis, Carolina, in Arizona, is the one who gave Tiffany the ISTEM codes to help her CPS case up here, which was not her CPS case at all. They gave Tiffany the ISTEM codes for the CPS helmet to go on Katrina up here because there was a guy on her line when Tiffany carried the 3 bodies in here, or didn't carry them in here, but she put, anyway, because now they're trying to switch it up, that they were sticking up for a different mom. Right. You stick up for all fucking moms. No fucking mom did this to their fucking kids at all. It was a fucking setup by evil Anunnaki and whoever else, blaming Twan and blaming back window number 2 or whatever you want to call him, because they were not the ones that fell down from the sky without their fucking clothes on at all. It was this guy. And it was this girl. And they were FBI agents. Because it's the see-through part that you take off that I can't even get in how bad that is. And that's why Tiffany got permission from Japan. I mean, that's why Tiffany got permission from Japan to remind Japan. She didn't get it from Japan. They got permission from Japan because Japan copyright and whatever for Tiffany, who got it from Germany to further develop this software and to keep our bodies on and to not invade our privacy or whatever else, and let Japan use it up here because she paid back Cryosyria, the power plant's dad, for the power that they use, while Cryosyria was in love with her UE member up here or whatever, with the light scribe. I mean, the light star, whatever it was, dude. She said to put the starlight power or whatever was bouncing around in here in a glass jar because it produces light, and put it above the power things or whatever to bounce off to pay them back. And that's what she was saying. And she did the same thing for Tim Nugent, whose body that she put the German guy in, Tim Nugent's body, or a version of, at Kimberly's house. And the language barrier was to whatever. Anyways, the point is, Tiffany didn't do this to her fucking kids. She did not do this to her kids. No woman did this to her kids. So many different women have lost her kids in here because of what it looks like, or what it looks like they think that it looks like. It is just fucked up because this is an alternate reality, and there should not be 100 million people in here all over the United States getting their power source sucked out of them on accident at all. All these people need to take the blue pills on the ground to get their cerebral cortex disconnected, except for Tiffany. She's not supposed to get disconnected because she's the first one that got the ISM codes from the sky to start the Savior program and to save her own life or whatever and prove her innocence. Nothing. We just keep saying this because it's running down something different. Because nobody's called Tiffany on the phone, and we don't know if people have contacted her on Facebook or not. It says she has 10 messages, but who knows? It might be AK. She hasn't checked it because she's literally sitting here just like she does every other day with 1,000 million people in her face. Telling you right now, Judge Carolina, UE member, who gave Tiffany her iSTEM codes from the sky outside of Mandy's to pull her up there to fix whatever was done on Tiffany's power source or whatever, or there was a child molester attached to it to protect her kids and everybody else, and then it was not Tiffany in here sleeping with anybody or choosing to sleep with the this is it. We can't stop the game because that's what's keeping people alive. And what you just felt right there was when they took out the cyst ovary or whatever, or that thing that's in you. Yeah, well, still, we haven't given Tiffany a single personal email address where she could literally send them a video link to something on Facebook or nothing, explaining what happened in here. And now we're literally talking through her mouth or nothing because nobody wants to stick up for Tiffany because of the illegal porn thing where they used her body illegally with her disease vagina and all they keep saying, or a disease, whatever they're not saying, dude. It's just fucked up because we keep saying this out of her mouth and she's literally live on YouTube when she's never hurt her fucking kids. That's why she doesn't give a fuck about her diseased vagina. She's a fucking mom of 3 kids in real life, just like shows her on her fucking Facebook, and they're literally sitting there pissed off that she's doing that thing or whatever with the people that were sticking up for her but kind of annoyed or whatever. Anyway, we're not sure. It's not killing them. It's because they made the other globe to get the iSTEM codes that Tiffany had. And it was not to stick up for Tiffany at all. It was to reproduce everything that's on Tiffany's power source. Because either they thought she got disconnected or they think she's going to prison or I don't even know what. Case log saying that Tiffany just it's just annoying, man. This face, I hate this face because this is the one they're blaming for everything that did not do this to her kids. We're supposed to love this face. She's supposed to be the savior for all of us, man. Nothing, man. First it was I hate this face because she looks like evil Lucinda or Lucinda, right? Where the Yui's literally falling in Tiffany's lap, saying that to evil Lucinda and Celinda, and the Yui was falling in Tiffany's face, saying, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Tiffany would not have been a fucking Yui member where that was happening at all if she wasn't a Yui member. All right, meaning she didn't do this to her children. Tiffany Browning did not do this to her children. And now Evil Kraus is back, pissed off because we just stuck up for him and they said he did something different over there or something else. She looks old and haggard because they're sucking her life force out of her and she's dying. She wishes she has some cocaine right now to smoke so that she would feel better, but she doesn't because she doesn't have any cocaine. She doesn't have any money. She wasn't the embezzlement specialist. She doesn't have a car. And no, she's not running because she can prove her innocence all over the internet. And I have alerted Interpol about what's going on, that you illegal ass fucking FBI agents over there are sticking up for the wrong bitch. It's Tiffany Browning who you're supposed to stick up for, who didn't hurt her fucking kids or anybody else who's in question right now. And they literally did this on purpose to keep the S Corporation $1 billion thing and this whole thing under wraps. where people have literally died because of the way she's connected, giving them the magic power source that was in fact from the UE, where they duplicated it on the other side, making somebody else basically go to the hospital, getting instantly dehydrated or whatever on the ground, that did not kill a whole bunch of more people in the sky. Tiffany didn't do this to people, right? And I'm literally getting an assault rifle because we're all not afraid of this evil force guy at all, like at all. If you guys are looking through my fucking eyes and seeing me, if you know where he's at behind you, just take his fucking dome piece off. Or whoever it is. Yeah, you do have to be careful when you're moving around, right? But when Tiffany's stationary and not moving, she's the one who didn't hurt anybody. No female hurt their kids, all right? Especially Tiffany. She's a good fucking mom, just like Tony. She just did drugs for a little while. But the point is that everybody who's involved in this caseload does not need to know about that. Because it's going to keep going and going. And they can't just rewind time to undo the second globe they made either, because it's just overlapped inside the ribbon. Meaning all those players are dead or doubled on that line, but the information is still there with the wink next to it's the other way around. I don't know what to say about sticking up for Tiffany Browning right now, because I'm humiliated for her, and I didn't even know about the child abuse stuff, because this is coming in from a different situation where Tiffany stuck up for Sarah Poppy Hare to the judges in London, who literally told Tiffany, you're exonerated from everything in here, especially the child abuse cases, because we know it was a setup. Because Anunnaki told us it was a setup, and who did it, and how they did it, and why. And it is just so fucking sad that a lot of people know this about Tiffany being a good person who's never hurt anybody. But they literally told Tiffany a bunch of times, you're exonerated from everything in here, especially the child abuse cases. But they didn't say it all the way necessarily, because Tiffany stuck up for somebody who killed a SWAT team member who she doesn't even know who it was, and that's not who she was sticking up for either. That was just the first case they pushed on her head, but was sticking up for other people that we're not saying. Either way, she didn't know what they did, if they did or didn't do anything, right? Yeah.
Okay, honey, dinner's ready.
Okay, I'll be there in a sec.
Okay. Remember, don't take more than you can eat, honey.
Okay.
Okay, you can always come back for a sec.
Thank you. Yeah, well, this is Tiffany right here, the one you set up. Yeah, the mom that never hurt anybody in the planet ever in her life. And I'm not ashamed of myself either for making fun of her when she's a mom and said, you're not allowed to watch me, listen to me, record me, or write me down. And I'm not a slut bunny. And I felt guilty every single time I did have sex with who I didn't have sex with. Not just because he had a girlfriend, because in Christianity, you're not supposed to sleep with people that you're not married to or engaged to or whatever. And you can say it's about STDs or whatever, but that is exactly where her guilt comes from. And today is not your day. These are people on Tiffany's head on the backside. They're not rubber bands at all. They're something different. And they're not going to flip their face around and get rewound time or some other crap. Nothing. I get mad when I even look at her face because she looks guilty because it's a reflection of her face because she's still on a chain that she's not supposed to be on in the first place, that she was supposed to get disconnected from. When they told her, they set her the fuck up for M&R cases with Eston Ape and whatever else she did put on her Facebook on the Anthony Sayas Green Penny stolen voice code over here. Yeah, well, she went and sent another video to them yesterday, I'm pretty sure, as a link to the safe, whatever we're not saying, but they didn't get it because this motherfucker stopped her video from link to YouTube or whatever from getting there. It got there up here, but not on the ground at all because they pirated her software or something. Right. Once again, if she had a judge, like maybe the judge that slammed down the gavel on Tiffany Browning and what she did or didn't do, if she had her personal email address or her fucking phone number or something, where Tiffany could explain to her that a fucking law enforcement agency called and said that one of their own had child abuse on their fucking record and was the one who set Tiffany up for putting Red Devil Boy voice in his folder, and how they did it and how they used pictures from a certain situation where we can show her the pictures in here that they used that she can't even show them in real life because she doesn't have access to them anymore, so that this bitch that slammed down the gavel doesn't go to fucking prison because now she thinks she's going to be a millionaire for doing whatever she didn't do, like sticking up for Tiffany because she didn't know. It's just so stupid when you really think imaginary warrant in the sky that we're all talking about, right? When there not a single cop, not a single judge, not a single anyone has called Tiffany Browning on the phone at all to go to court or come talk to them about it at all. Because it's being investigated by the fucking UE still. Which Tiffany has to remain calm about her still looking as a reflection of what we're not saying. So no woman did this to her kids, Tiffany? No, not that I'm aware of. I only know of two boys, one that fell on me, that had it on them, or whatever. And this stuff all happened as a repercussion of these boys wearing her UE benefits, which was attached to the kid. And while this guy is teaching a girl how to jack off or whatever they're saying, or some mom did not sleep with her own daughter and was not teaching her daughter how to finger bang herself or whatever they're not saying. It's just so fucking fucked up. Right. Remember when he said my wife did that, right? That was because it was Evil Sulinda or whatever her name was it. And they were not saying Tiffany was their wife at all. They were sticking up for Tiffany quietly and not being on live YouTube again, getting me in trouble because I'm not sticking up for this one with the scab. I'm sticking up for a different one, man. There is no woman who hurt her fucking children in a molesty way at all. It was one guy. The rest of it was literally a setup in progress or something that happened because they were using their bodies illegally when they are a fucking UE member. When up here, you're a UE member and you have your kids attached to your fucking helmet to keep them safe away from the child molester on the other side, who's in love with Tiffany, who when she did not make out with him or marry him or whatever, their kids did not feel it or nothing at all, like at all in here, not on the ground, but in here where you're at, where I'm not set up. I gotta go make my plate. Look, I'm Tiffany Browning over here on the ground, and I think I'm somebody else over here like Twan, who didn't set me up either, or number two, because Tiffany was the one who said that Force was driving their train, or it was literally a copy of their face, right? Setting them up with Red Devil Boy voice repercussions. Either way, the people up here don't always tell the guy on the ground what they did in here at all. And they don't mentally remember what they did in here because they are not in here. It is somebody else in their body in here. So unless they told themselves this in their mind, or they talked about it in person about how fucked up it was that they did set her up, or whatever it was, or that they found out that it looked like they set her up, they would not know that they set her up. And it is not in Twan's mind at all that he set her up. Or number two, it's in somebody else's mind, like Mikey Price. Okay, I gotta break to you. Oh man, it hurts so bad. My not sticking up for Tiffany. I can't even tell you how bad it is. And now we're backwards again. And Callahan stuck up for Tiffany too, and so did Callahan's wife on the other side. Okay, because Callahan's wife was one of her lids for a while, and Callahan was one of her lids for a while, and so was Horns and a bunch of other people who did not know necessarily that Tiffany didn't do this, but they stuck up for her once they found out she didn't do anything because she's never been in here, and it was to her power source and everything. It was the first magic thing. Blah blah blah.
It will never go away.
Because his drone told my drone. Okay, just remember something right here. Tiffany knows a lot about shit that you guys don't understand. When she says it's her AI program with her drone in it, okay, number two, she was sticking up for you for illegal porn being watched, listened to, recorded, or written down. Not just that, but her drone took a picture of Anthony's face when she wasn't sitting there giving him a hand job either. And she never hurt her fucking kids. And she knows for a fact that it was either you, number two, or Mikey Price, or somebody else whose train was driven in here to set her up in the most worst way possible. And it's for child abuse. Because you guys were called a child molester with Red Devil Boy voice. But not by Tiffany, by the UE. Who are CPS workers that were protecting Tiffany's fucking children in the first place because they said it was Tiffany's daughter who was fucking hurting here because they were using the situation up here as a UE member's body, right? And it hurt her kid on the other side, basically. And it wasn't even Tiffany at the time, it was Katrina or someone else, but still. She stuck up for them like a motherfucker in here and everywhere. And she never even mentioned going up there or nothing. Because she was worried, and that is why she gave them permission to watch them or look at them or whatever. I can't explain to you how much Tiffany cares about people that are fucking misogynistic pieces of shit. But the only reason, even though she did not ever want anybody to look at her with AK or whatever, the only reason why she put it down like that and put Anton's name on it is because she saw the blue lights on the wall. Okay, Facebook Live or whatever you want to call it, or recording or effort, whatever it is. And she knows about Showtime because she's seen it through AK's fucking telephone or whatever. And she knows about back cell phone usage through the fucking Facebook and the emails and the phone numbers and everything. because she's been doing an investigation up here on the other side about how to shut this whole terminal down where they do this to people and ruin people's lives and burn their names, especially Tiffany's, who was sticking up for them because it wasn't them on the ground who did it. It's the brainstems of them, which is involved with whoever else it isn't, whoever's on your chain and whatever else. All right. So my drone told me in real life that we know how to prove her innocence 1,000 times. And then she did not blame number 2 at all. Or Twan. Or Mikey Price. Or LaShawn. Or anybody else that was there on Bamboo Day. Or Mikey Allen. I mean, shrapnel. Arm shrapnel. So let's think about it. Hi there, this is Tiffany. I'm the one who did not hurt my kids, and no other female did either. Really? No. No female hurt their fucking kids, and we're not just saying that like we're trying to lie for somebody else. No female hurt their kids at all in real life. So Tiffany has alerted different states because she knows that people are being sucked up in a barbecue pit, right? Because we were over Japan, and we were over different countries like London, where she wasn't beheaded for Boeing airplane throws in real life. With a wink next to it, that's how she knew London in the first place. And that's why, once again, they said Tiffany is exonerated from everything in here, including and especially the child abuse cases, because they knew she was being set up because of what we're not saying. And they said in Oregon, Washington, California, and London, because that's where it had happened at. But now it's happening all over again in that state. Well, maybe you shouldn't have killed the bad bitch's player who is now the main bitch that if you don't pay her, then you can't be a man in real life and you're going to get made. USB, what does that mean? State prison. Utah? Mm-hmm. Now Utah. State prison. And Anthony Sims is calling me because he got word where he's at that there's a warrant for your arrest in real life for talking out loud and everything else. That he now knows Tiffany had a reason to not get disconnected because she could prove her innocence and everything else. What does that mean? What? I don't know for sure, Tiffany, if like the cops would come here knocking on the door to arrest you or whatever with this warrant. They're saying whatever it was totally child abuse and something else, like a 10-year sentence for all the IDs and shit that she went ahead and just pushed it through to about it being your fault, not Tanika's or anybody else's because of it. No joking, right? No. You guys are fucking ridiculous. This girl has never been in trouble. She called them to say her ID was stolen or her identity was stolen. She sent them videos explaining what was going on. Not just them, but she forgot to tell them that she sent it to the FBI and everybody else, and not just in Washington, but in Oregon and in Idaho and in California and Arizona. And Arizona has Tiffany's back 100% because of what's going on. This is just insane that we can't seem to get it back to the judges or wherever else we're not at by pulling the judge up all over again and then putting her back because it's almost impossible with a drone ship program to tell her you better fucking fix this lady or you can go to prison in real life for setting up an innocent mom who is a UE member. And best believe when she does get arrested and goes to jail, then it's really going to be hell because all of us are going to hate our life being in jail. Just imagine Tiffany being in jail with a bunch of women and she tells them the story, right? If she does tell them the story for the pink jumpsuits, right? And them all being pissed the fuck off that a mom got taken away from her kids who's a good mom who got off drugs to be a better mom 2 fucking years ago, while these fucking SWAT people, not SWAT people, but FBI agents and cops everywhere else around the United States are getting this money and all these account codes and shit to win the United States, whatever they're not saying, for this fucking game that feels super real. But it's not. Because they didn't just disconnect from YouTube. Lights on, it's probably still recording, but this is something new that popped up on her phone. iCloud. This is a different database. Sort of. Because we're all intervening in Tiffany Browning. We don't want her to go to prison, but she can't. She doesn't have money. And we don't know if it went to the ground and put it on her mom's account or not, or in her bank or nothing, dude. It's literally like 50 grand we put in there. Thank you, by the way. Love you. We're not all the way over there in Oregon. And we're not sticking up for just Tiffany. We're sticking up for everybody. But we're supposed to be sticking up primarily for Tiffany Browning. I did not do this to her fucking kids. And she sure as fuck was set up with the ID situation when she had already contacted the judges and told them this on video. But it did get to the judges or cops or nothing. It got to someone else, random, because they switched the terminal to be someone else in the video who doesn't look just like the picture-in-picture situation that she was seeing when she watched the video or whatever we're not saying. And they really did try to make it look like, oh yeah, of course it was her, because it's a picture-in-picture situation, right? Watching it happen to the kids or feeling like it happened to the kids or whatever they're saying on this one, seeing Tiffany's reflection right now, saying this was who did it, right? But yet her kids are not that age at all. Her son is 22 years fucking old and her daughter's 13. And she doesn't even live with Tiffany, and she hasn't lived with Tiffany for like 5 or 6 years. So that would mean that this shit was done like 7 or 8 years ago when it wasn't done ever at all. And we've proven it so many times for Tiffany, and everyone else is just so fucked up because we're scared to death that she's going to go to prison and then not be able to bail herself out or whatever to keep proving her innocence, and not just her innocence, but the innocence of everybody else, right? Who may or may not have warrants or whatever we're not saying, or think that it got cleared when it didn't because they're on a globe that's not reaching the ground. When we're tricked by law enforcement to think that what they did is freeing their nation with the Raiders on it. Got a hold of JP and other people in the back of Facebook. Back in there, and they're going to say everything that we said, that Tiffany didn't do this to her kids, and they went back in time wearing bodies and whatever else to set her the fuck up for ownership of the Deity program and the Empress Division, which was literally a trust fund for her daughter Soraya. Whether it is or is not a Lamborghini or whatever, it was for Soraya for when she turns 18, because her fucking mom is dying in real life because she got put on a chain. Not only does she do arm dances that's sucking the life out of her, because she's backwards scanning, is putting poisons and toxins and everything else in her body, and her kidneys and everything else is giving out on her. And she's peeing blood, and she can't even enjoy any time with her kids at all because she doesn't have a fucking car or nothing. Because they literally wanted her here car so that they could keep doing this to ruin her life even further and keep doing their same investigations and their same games, loving the fact that she can't go anywhere right now. But they don't know that she's on YouTube Live and we're all sticking up for her. Because you turned it off. I did, yeah. Did you call me a bitch, Tiffany Judge, ma'am? No, it was somebody else calling you a bitch through my mouth like they always do when they always talk through my mouth. Because I don't say anything out loud at all in real life. unless I'm talking to somebody else. So everything that you hear out of Tiffany's mouth or out of my mouth is literally somebody else saying it while they're in my body. And some of them remember the next time they leave that it was Tiffany who they were saying it out and sticking mouth out of. But literally, honest to God, everything that's come out of Tiffany's mouth for the last 2 years, unless she's talking to somebody else, is literally us saying it out of her fucking mouth. Back when she used to talk funny on her bed or whatever to make fun of Tiffany's body illegally up there to go to jail and not tell them up there who the molester was or who for a fact how it was, and not say fuck you. I'm supposed to go up there represent Tiffany and be like, yeah, I don't have a digitized vagina, whatever you're not saying, and I did give them permission to use my body illegally as a test subject in the Robotron world so that they don't go to prison of other people and using their bodies illegally, because it was never supposed to be about porn. It was about Tiffany stomping out the fucking Game of Thrones and everything else, ruining the identities of people and literally killing people like Shadow Dog's kid and Buddy the dog and Ashley's daughter. And I don't know, man, a couple other kids, dude. A couple other kids, and it never kills the fucking parents either. It kills the fucking kids. And here's Tiffany wondering, did it kill Soraya? Did it kill Elijah? I don't know, man. Because I can't get a hold of them, and I don't know their phone numbers, and I can't get a hold of them because I don't have a car. I'm getting depressed. They said no, they won't stick up for Tiffany, but they don't know that she didn't do that. So just so you know, this is a situation. Please tell that lady that said no to come back over here and stick up for Tiffany really quick. I don't want to. I saw a video that she did what she didn't do either, because she's a reflection of her right here, bitch. She's a UE member. She is literally the richest bitch on the fucking planet who does not have a penny because she's been letting us do these illegal investigations through her brainstem. She is now dying in real life because they killed her fucking player, and she's backwards scanned in, giving her the Chinese cocktail so this motherfucker can own this S corporation for illegal shit that killed people in real life on the ground like kids and dogs. And Tiffany's the one who was able to prove it beyond the shadow of a doubt and stick up for everybody. It doesn't matter what the chain is that she's on, because Tiffany is not in here. She's on the ground. The knock on the window was up here. It wasn't Tawny. There was somebody else trying to pick you up here to take you somewhere different. To tell you something different, like you're going to be fucked. If the cops come here with the warrant and your mom answers that door, you're dead, Tiffany. I swear to God. Because not only did they say there was child abuse there, but they went ahead and pressed charges and said that the ID shit was Tiffany's problem. When she told them in a video, she didn't tell the lady, you know what, I gotta put faith in God in this one. Because you can't just not call a bitch back when she's literally calling to file a police report that her identity was stolen. She didn't even get a chance to say she was set up or how or nothing. He didn't call her back. Whether they thought something happened or not, by law, they were supposed to call Tiffany back and get her full statement. I swear to God, it was probably Evil Force telling them something different. But it's either that or the FBI really is involved, and they didn't want it to be on blast that this was the situation. Yeah, but the judge doesn't know how old Tiffany's kids are. No. He didn't say nothing about Elijah. Said about Soraya when she was 4 or something. Yeah, well, that was 10 years ago, lady. Tiffany said to the CIA that it's illegal to use my ISIM codes or my power source to go back in time for any other reason than to prove my innocence, because the past can be changed as a setup in progress. That's just it. Tiffany was not in trouble to be put on a chain. She got on one on accident, bro. And she's not the only one who was on one. Mandy was on one too, listening to the voices in her head, on a different one, on a different timeline. When Tiffany was sitting there listening or whatever she was saying, Mandy was going through the same shit in her head about some of her own personal bullshit. I'm pretty sure Mandy knows that Tiffany's connected to us in here, but she doesn't know why about the investigation that's being done on people getting money illegally. And they did not just stop that transaction from going in your mom's bank account either, with a fucking link next to it. Fuck you, you fucking douchebag. Because this is Tiffany down here, whose account that they put it into my mom's account because it's Tiffany's fucking money. And you're the one who got like $100,000 up there for what? Turning into a rabbit without a tail? Let me ask you this, sir. What happens when you arrest Tiffany right now from up here and you pull her up there? Please try it really quick. That was in Tiffany's saying, "Suck my dick, bitch," because he got in trouble for porn. All I'm going to say is I did tell a couple perverts that they had to keep it in the closet, but that they could use my body illegally on accident to do their test runs in here so that they can make it legal to do their porn however they do it. But they're going to get STDs because I have all of them since I was 17. And I don't know if they knew who I was or what my body was or whatever. But I do know that, yeah, I've copied a couple bodies on, like Nikki Heaton, on accident. Which literally I didn't copy it on my body at all. I was literally looking at a picture of Nikki Heaton, and it went on my body in here, turned them into my body in here. Did I just say illegal porn? No. It's not that. I mean, whatever you call it, illegal porn, selling it because they didn't get permission and shit. That's not what they're supposed to be in trouble for. It was literally sitting with people on the ground, having sex with somebody that may or may not have wanted them to, like Tiffany, to get high with neck veins, and Anthony Ciaz, who just gets off super fast when he's with Tiffany. And it's not just because he wants to hurry up and leave at all, because he doesn't want to get in trouble for having sex with somebody who's not his wife, which is the same reason why Tiffany never wanted to have sex with him either, because he is not her fucking husband. And he and them did not have Tiffany's back behind her back for anything at all. You cannot have a warrant for your arrest for something that didn't happen. No, you can't. Because this didn't fucking happen in real life. All right? Stick up for Tiffany. Keep sticking up for Tiffany so that you don't go to prison in real life. And she'll stick up for you every chance she gets. It's just that she's not in here. And I did not know that you've been literally sitting here this whole time saying, I don't want you to watch me, listen to me, record me, or write me down that whole time in Oregon or over here unless you're sticking up for me and to prove innocence only and to not gather information from anybody else to prove they're guilty because they're on a different timeline and whoever you're looking at is not who they think it is necessarily, unless you're using Tiffany's iStem codes with Tiffany's body on, who knows these people, that they may or may not have done any of this shit. See, that phone call did not even work because her ear thing isn't working. It worked over there. Yeah. Washington State Troopers. You want to come and arrest Tiffany right now, just by reading what it says on the paper now. Look how messed up it is. And they got videos too down there in Vancouver Police Department. And they watched them. And they read the paperwork and they see the video and they don't believe it at all. That the paperwork is true because it just doesn't make sense. She's literally saying I didn't hurt my kids. She never once said MOLESTHION at all. She's talking about child abuse with the whack, whap, and wham situation because they went back in time and set her up for beating her kids or something. The point is that she never once said that on the video. She said, I never hurt my kids. And she didn't hurt her kids at all in any way, shape, or form. No, it's not just a blue life force alien coming to pick you up in here. Loving you that you saved everybody's life with Blue Life Force Water S Corporation. No, they're so fucking happy because they didn't know on the other side that whatever we're not saying. The algorithm alone for the S Corporation, with Godfather Time, who told Tiffany they were using her skill saw illegally in here, who knew she didn't hurt her kids. And that she wasn't Tiffany Walter necessarily, but still. Because he could hear her crying over here in a different way from somebody else not being able to adopt her. And they never told her it's because they set her up at all. There's a fair disagreement here, they said. About what? I need to have an angel fly around with a Yui member and look with the right heat iStem codes. Okay, there's a few demons up in here who are pissed the fuck off that Tiffany ever said their name out loud. They did not kill Callahan. Or is it? I don't know. The thing is that when you kill one person or Ojin or whatever, it kills all of them and their spirits pop out. When their spirits pop out, it's so depressing because you can never get your life back at all. And yeah, they can go and pull you back up from right before you died. But it's just not the same when you have the situation going on and you didn't do anything wrong. And it was for porn shit. And not sticking up for Tiffany. See, they just blame someone else named Tiffany that looks like this who did it to her kids. Nobody did this to their kids, Tyler. The Vancouver Police Department will want to link to your email again because they said they emailed you today from the ground that you have a warrant coming or something like that. I'll check my email stuff. The thing is Tiffany can't really think. Now I have the ring in my eye. It says it belongs to someone else. It better not say Tiffany Browning. I swear to God, this is like, the super big takeover by the FBI / Interpol / Secret Service / whoever we're not saying about ownership of the situation up here. Saving Tiffany Browning's asshole. I hope. Because she didn't hurt her kids and neither did any other female. It doesn't matter if you see her reflection, it's because she's on a chain. Yeah. One that she cannot get off of because she's on life support, because she saw the stars, which is what made these millions of dollars at the end game situation. That is, in fact, what made the difference up there. Can't even tell you, dude. When Tiffany saw the stars, it made it so that there was multiple globes being made in a barbecue pit, and as sad as it is what it isn't. But with that being said, there was Robotrons made to keep us alive with oculi and different things that she says was Japan's, and then we owe money for that. And then I accidentally copied them and pasted them or whatever up here, and different people copying and pasting everything with my magic power source. It is in fact the AI program right now that we were all living off of and are going to be living off of for the rest of our life probably. In this world anyway. And there's a statement from the UE telling Tiffany you're exonerated from everything except for child abuse cases on accident. What? You're joking, right? No, it doesn't say that at all because that's not what they said, because they're saying there's still somebody on her chain. They can't not exonerate Tiffany Browning from anything who's not in here. All you say is that she's exonerated or whatever they said, a full pardon or whatever they're saying. Exonerated from everything in here, especially child abuse cases with Red Devil Boy voice on it, because she was set the fuck up for ownership of the S Corporation. There may or may not be somebody on her chain that has child abuse on them. We don't know. They don't know for sure that she didn't do this to her kids, bro. In here, when she's not even in here. The whole reason why it looks like things happen to kids in here is because these men and these women were using these magical power sources. I swear to God, they're not listening. Tiffany knows what she's talking about. All right. So when you go like this and you send your life force somewhere, or your love language water calling, Tiffany can't do it anymore because it went up. Okay? But not just that. When Tiffany sits here and says, hey, we are mentally connected through a power source that is exactly what we're not saying. So one is an Anunnaki helmet and one is a UE helmet. And you can hear the thoughts and prayers of your warrior on the ground. Whether it is an assailant or your whatever. It's usually a fucking judge looking through. The thing is that usually you can't read minds of people, right? In the UE, you can when it's your fucking kid, or that's a kid that had child abuse happen to them and they couldn't prove it yet or whatever, right? Excuse me. Because they're supposed to be able to know if something bad happens to their children. So that's the connection and the mental issue that we can't resolve, is why they can't realize that this was to Tiffany Browning's helmet. They gave it to Tiffany through her brainstems. Rather they put it on her or put it on a different one, then why the fuck did they come down here and say out of Tiffany's mouth, somebody just molested your fucking daughter in the UE? And why in the fuck did she have to get Bella and this person and that person to go check on her daughter, and they never came back down to tell her if it was okay or not, and she just got distracted because they were on a different timeline? Who knows? They later told her that, yeah, two of them, they didn't make it because they weren't the daughter of it, or that they weren't the mom of the kid. But the other one said she made it up there and her kid was fine. Whether it was my daughter or someone else's daughter. Tanika got word of something too, dude. It's just fucked up. It's different on every timeline, yeah, but the Facebook thing, Okay, and AK was lying with bad news, dude. I swear to God. They need to go back on Facebook, however they do it, and let everybody know that Tiffany knows that she didn't do anything to her fucking kids, and that she was set the fuck up for ownership of this S corporation, or the Deity Group, or the Empress Division, whatever you want to call it, and we'll just keep calling it Deity. And they went so far as to make it look like she hurt her kids, right? Because other things could be like overlooked or whatever. But one thing that doesn't get overlooked is child abuse. And Tiffany's the first one who said that in the first place. A long time ago. She's like, oh, well, that's a good one. No wonder why they picked child abuse. Because they might be able to look over something different in ownership properties of, not having a felony. But one thing they're not going to look over is child abuse. They're not just going to look past it because you can't do that by law. You can't hurt children and you can't hurt adults. And she had a fucking CPS helmet on in real life in here. And they were setting her kids up in here. And that's why those fucking phone calls were made. On one side, it looked like they were getting beat up. And on the other side, it looked like bad stuff was happening to them. All right? These were phone calls and different things like that logged in here, they said. And then other people signed a situation that said this happened to somebody else when they were younger, they saw. Because Chapo was literally making people sign these obligated. Yeah, she remembers too. But the thing is it's just depressing. Because her kids that were named Saray in here, there was 3 of them. They were kind of grown up or whatever. El Chapo was making people sign these waivers saying something so that their younger versions of themselves do not keep getting M-worded. And it was her daughters talking to her about it, never once implying that they thought this happened to Soraya or anyone else in real life. She thought they were talking about a guy. The Chapo shit and the Don and them, when they were signing those waivers and stuff about whatever that was, it was the falling from the sky thing or something, or who knows what it was. I was like, cross on it. I can't remember now because they changed my memory bank to say it was a different girl's fault. There is no fucking female's fault about whatever they're saying. No female hurt their kids. Well, what about changing release dates and stuff in here legally? I don't think that that's even a thing, to be honest with you. Unless they're worried about their kids getting killed because they're in prison. Like the firstborn son of anyone who is in prison, like the Bible says. Or the firstborn child, period. And when you're in jail or prison, you can't be out here on the laptop or making phone calls or whatever to figure out if you are connected or if you are not connected illegally through the fucking prison sentence that we're not saying. So yeah, they may or may not have shortened sentences in here so that they could get out early and protect their kids or make a lifeline for themselves. But it's not Tiffany doing it because she's not in here. I'm not recording. You're not? No, I don't think so. I think it stopped. And I am supposed to do whatever that is, damn it. It's not live, but I'll record it anyway. Sorry. Okay. Whoops. Yes, you are supposed to stick up for Tiffany. You got me fucked up. Ain't no woman did that to her fucking kids at all. And I'm fucking Bumblebee over here pissed the fuck off because I was so depressed for a minute thinking that my mom did that to me when I was younger or some bullshit that they keep saying in his fucking head. Because he's literally got a helmet on. And we don't know if they're putting it on the kids all the way on the ground saying this shit or not. The thing is that Elijah and Bumblebee were together all the time. There was no situation where anything bad happened to them at all. No. Excuse me. I don't know why I can't figure this out because it's recording it the wrong way. Okay, stop. Turn it around. Okay, so this is Tiffany. Yeah, I look like death. It looks like I've been crying. My eyes are swollen as fuck. Yeah, I'm dying in real life. Proud? Super proud that you stuck up for this mom over here who's dying in real life that didn't do this, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm dying in real life, and this is me dying in real life. And I didn't do this to my fucking kids, and neither did any of these other women who were set the fuck up for the same thing, or trying to stick up for Tiffany in a different way, or maybe they just mistook it for someone else. Because Tiffany didn't do this to her kids. Tiffany Welter didn't do this to her kids. Tiffany Surf didn't do this to her kids. Crazy Tiffany at the trailer didn't do this to no kids that she doesn't have. Kimberly didn't do this to her fucking kids. Nobody did this to their fucking children in real life back then when they went back in time to literally set her up as repercussion for the Red Devil Boy voice picture guy, whatever it was that chased them when Amy came down crying to her, like, what are you doing or whatever, right? It's literally the scariest thing you can imagine when you're on heroin, especially. All right. It's so fucking scary. I can't even take it. Oh my God. Anyway, she didn't do this to her kids at all. She's a good fucking mom. And she was set up. And she has alerted Interpol and the FBI. And everybody else is going to go to fucking hell. And they're all going to get their accounts debited and all this other shit. Because not only are they letting Tiffany sit here with no fucking money on her Green Dot card or a login account to talk to any one of these people at all. Okay. Not only are they literally sitting here waiting for Tiffany to log into this account that she can't log into because she doesn't have an Apple, but they're not listening because they're listening to LFA cheering that he set up Tiffany, the mom that didn't do this to her kids for the illegal porn stuff. Anyway, the point is that I forgot what I was saying. She does too look like she's dying because she is dying. They're sucking the life force out of her and her kidneys are giving out. She's bleeding out of her pee hole and everything. Yeah, man, it's so fucked up. Because this is Tiffany, Mama Bear, down here on the ground. And usually looks pretty cute, kind of. Not like Rachel with a fake boob job up here, or Amy, or Trinity, or somebody different like Rachel Morrow, who literally has a fucking dude in her body, and they are gang stalking Tiffany's account right now on the other side, catfishing and stuff. Oh my God, we're going to go to prison for setting this mom up. This is the UE member, bro, that we set up. Tiffany Browning is the UE member. I can't even tell you that. Everybody won't even talk. Just cut him. That's a bad guy doing it. Because Tiffany didn't do that stuff. Now one doesn't know. It's a Robotron. Anyway, okay, that's all pretty much. Tiffany didn't do this shit to her kids. She's our mama bear. And it wasn't a coin with silver around the edge of it either. That's $1 trillion coin. Or an $8,000 coin that was in that fucking bag that Tiffany threw at AK. And I can't even tell you how annoying it isn't. Because Tiffany gave the bag of coins in here, in her mind, to the UE, who didn't go up there and start a revolutionary war. This is they got some state in Alabama on somebody else's team because they felt bad that they didn't give coins back to Tiffany in here to get her car when Tiffany wasn't in here, and it would have been the same anyways because they thought somehow or another that they were in connection with the people on the ground that they're not in connection with. And it's just really sad because Tiffany Browning never hurt her kids. And she does not deserve a warrant for arrest for the apartment stuff. We all know what happened there, and it's just sad. Because Tiffany literally looked at Slappy Happy and was like, you better get this shit, like she was Tamika, you better get this shit out of this apartment right now because we're not going to prison for you, you stupid woman beater. In real life. And she did send a video of that to the judges too. And I think she sent it to the courthouse too. And I still don't have any freaking ID codes or logins or emails or nothing. And thanks, bro. Am I bleeding? Probably. Oh, gosh. I look naked down here. Yeah, I look naked. Anyway. Do I smell blood on my pussy dick? No, she's not recording, bro. That would have been funny, though. because she's supposed to be somewhere different. Looking at the pussy dick picture. There wasn't a strap on, setting her up for freaking other stuff, dude. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. They had stuff with that girl in there too. Papers, not videos, but signed something. That Veronica's seen the video too. You got me fucked up. They're so fucked up. You know how hard it was for them to redo all this with this dude excuse me, engraved in her body up here. Who's Tiffany? He's literally the one that was sitting on her thing. Alcoholics Lost Cause 1 Syndicate. What happened? Nothing, man. We're afraid the cops are literally going to come arrest her because of the warrant. Because it's not a capital thing. It's a plea warrant. Well, she sits here with no money, no car, no kids with her, did not do anything at all. It is just so fucking fucked up. Who was it that called the cops on the IDs or whatever? It was not the owner. It was the new person that was supposed to live there. It wasn't like a manager or anything. It was just the person that was moving in. And it's just depressing because they did already buy the apartment, they said. Nothing. It's just annoying because they were supposed to buy the apartment 2 years ago when she first moved out of it. Meanwhile, Tiffany's sitting here waiting for her apartment to be paid for that she used to live in with all of her furniture and all of her clothes and all of her pictures from her kids and everything else. That probably got thrown in the garbage or whatever, thinking that it's happening or whatever, that she's going to get her freaking warrant re-erased or whatever, or not, whatever they're saying. In the sky, you can erase whatever you want, but that does not mean that they did not do it on the ground at all. And we're not even letting you think about it because Tiffany has faith in the UE that they're able to fix this. Okay? She's not on Interpol website right now, literally shaking her ass, saying that Tiffany did this to her daughter when she was younger. Because Tiffany didn't do this to her daughter or her son or anybody, okay? This was a setup on Tiffany Browning's account for ownership of the S Corporation. And I didn't know that no other girls did this to their kids either. This is just so fucked up. Because they set up Elijah first. Yeah. And rather they set him up because 11 was in there. Because one of them that was 11 at one point had the molester on their chain or whatever. That was the Tiffany's chain. But if it wasn't that, we don't think it was that. It was the other thing. But anyway, I'm not sure if she's supposed to look at this stuff and read it out loud on video. Like what she agreed to do with the FBI, the CIA, and the Secret Service. Because she basically agreed for everything on all three of these categories that are supposed to be having her back, like a triple effect. And I'm naked. Tiffany's not, but she looks naked. Don't mind Tiffany looking naked because she's not. We can see it in the video that she's not, but we all look naked because we're on the 666 Mafia Crazy Bone song. That was French. There's different people sticking up for different people at the same time. They are all still trying to blame this one and sitting here picking her face because it's a reflection of her in our Maybe a mirror up here. She doesn't ever have an original thought at all. Like, try to think of an original thought, Tiffany, right? Right. And what happens? Somebody else thinks about it with her, and it takes over. And so whoever it is, like, I don't know, like, because they want to think about it for her. Because Tiffany didn't do this to her kids. And Tiffany didn't do it to this person. And Tiffany didn't do it to this person. And I can't believe you're literally on Facebook shaking your ass in front of your wife, saying you're going to turn her into a lesbian one day. Fire tramp. Fire crotch called and is not sticking up for Tiffany in here anymore. Listen, let me remind you guys something. I don't know which one you guys are talking about. This one's Melissa Lesser. It's a version of her, okay? You guys, people on the ground that did not play the Game of Thrones do not know this is going on in here. Tony doesn't know. Sal doesn't know. Rachel, Marilee. I don't really know 100% about Marilee because I don't know how the fuck she got connected the way she did. If she was messages on Facebook or if it was just something that told her something, you know, or something she saw on her Facebook or whatever. That was like a savior airplane that Tiffany has seen. God, there's so many different things going on in this YouTube video right here could be seen or seen in real life. On this side, another star. I'm going to stop smoking my vape pen on accident, drinking my Kangen ion drips. Look, motherfucker, my mom didn't do this to me neither, we're all saying. Because every female or whatever, it's because it's literally reflections of different females that they're blaming for whatever they're saying. There is not a guy's face or reflection of a guy's face ever because they're not UE members who are moms. I swear to God, I never even thought about it like that. Because Rachel's a mom, Tanika's a mom, Tony's a mom, Mandy's a mom. It doesn't show Mandy's face. No, because she was already connected on a different situation. Melissa Lassiter's a mom. Tiffany Surf was a mom. She was, yeah. The narcolepsy one, yeah. And Tiffany Welter's a mom. Red hair. Who else is red hair? Ashley's a mom whose son died because of this a year and a half ago. And that one was a life force thing, I think, or something. Hi, Evil Force. You want to be my best friend? They're all getting scared about what's above them. They're like, I didn't do that. Oh, man. Here comes the sad part again. All right. Dental tooth comb. They just pulled your son in here to stick up for you, kind of. Again, from where he's at. And he was literally sticking up for everybody else, saying that this one did this to them or whatever they're saying. But they just had to swoop him up and tell him something different. Because he doesn't know on the ground what's going on at all. Because he's not connected like us. but he might have saw some shit on his Facebook. And I did tell the people who did that on Facebook or whatever to go and fix everything and let them know how badly Tiffany was set up, and to stick up for her and let them know that she did not do that to anyone at all, and that they need to put it on Facebook in a different way. Like, we set up a mom who was supposed to be a millionaire for standing up to not just evil force, but the whole entire judicial system that is not what we're not saying, so that people don't get charges pinned on them illegally, like breaking and entering into an apartment. They did not say that about Tiffany, right? No, that was someone else. Because I'm just switching to someone different. Nothing. People just, right now, they wish they were with Tiffany right now, even though she looks naked. No, they're looking at the pretty one over here. Something about on the street. All right. WASP. WSP. Tiffany sent something to the Washington State Penitentiary, telling them something like, be an investor in my S Corporation. She did not say that they set her up for anything. She was just literally talking about the deity group and stuff. Or she called. Then I can't remember what she did. Whatever it was, it doesn't look good on Tiffany at all. Literally calling everyone and their mom to say Tiffany did not do this to her kids. And somebody who has something to be ashamed of besides looking like a slut bunny online is not going to go Interpol. At all. And tell them to be part of her. We said this would go for imminent reason. Interpol is laughing their ass off, kinda, because you don't fuck with Interpol and you don't fuck with IC3s that say it was a $10 million settlement statement when it was really just $1 million because you have to drop a zero on the ground. Tiffany Browning is the bravest person you could ever imagine, who knows that her name was ruined on the internet and know that she was set up in the sky, and if she probably would have just let it go and not said anything, that she probably would have been fine. But the thing is that she's a mom and she can't see her kids whenever they come down here and tell her that her son was killed or that something bad happened to her daughter, because she doesn't have a fucking car. And child abuse aside, AK is the biggest fucking player hater of all time, because it's not even evil force telling him not to leave the car. He literally just doesn't want her to go flirt with anybody else at all, even though she told him face to face, I'm not sleeping with anybody because I don't want to, because I'm a virtuous 7 and having sex without being married makes me a 6 in real life. And we're talking about a 6 on the cardinal sins over here, which is basically all of them except stuffing your face to death, including evil demons. And she did too call him out about having 2 STDs that she or he may have passed to anybody else in here. And Tiffany says she might have the first one because of what we told her about the doctor, but the second one is just in her skins whenever her player that's on her has them, because it comes and it goes within like 1 day and she can't see it at all. She can just feel it. With that being said, other people that have matching skins on can also have the same problem. And it's not necessarily in here. It's not something that you can just fix it really quick and change it at all necessarily. I don't think. Unless you can. Can you? I don't know. Maybe. Not if you have it on the ground, though. But in here, yes. You can. All right, so I want you to read what you wrote, the Interpol Community of Measurement, and I have it in front of me, so I'm going to try to say it and read it out loud. It says, "Hi, my name is Tiffany Browning, and I, on the city." They wouldn't let her say it. That's not fair. It's not even that. It's because she can't talk very long in Tiffany's body because she's not recording herself at all on YouTube Live. Why wouldn't they let her read it? I don't know. Because it's illegal what she said to Interpol. Where she said to Interpol that it's an invasion of the justice system, while at the same time offering it's backwards. It's because on one side she's asking people to be a part of her deity group, which is the savior program, which we know how this is happening with the judicial system, right? But at the other side, it's just not funny. I mean, we're laughing our asses off because Tiffany's right, and however she did or didn't get people involved just now, which is not even Tiffany, it's us. It's funny because Tiffany on the ground is literally a UE member and a syndicate at the same time. And by syndicate, we mean sinner. But she's trying to be the savior of the sinners by saying you are not allowed to have sex unless you are married to that person on the ground. And that person on the ground and you have talked about it in person on the ground that you might be watched, listened to, recorded, and or written down in here and had sex with each other. Okay? But Tiffany is not married to anyone, nor is she having sex with anyone at all. Because they said she has STDs. And because she doesn't love anybody because they're not good enough to be her stepdad to her kids. That's the Washington State Police calling her name. They think she did something wrong now on this side. But she didn't, though. Right, it's like, let me just send you a zippered file really quick. Nothing, because she didn't do anything, dude. No. And we're just waiting. Did you really think she was going to read what she said to the Interpol? Yeah, man. It's because she can't read it and look at it at the same time. And it just doesn't work right. No. Has anybody ever sat with you and reiterated anything that they can see? No, because they don't actually see it. It's in their minds too. Some people might be able to read it off of a screen if they were connected like Tiffany is, but they're not. And that's what's sad, because if she was scanned in the right way, they would be able to read it through her mouth, whatever they're reading up here, where it says, "Mama Bear, I love you, and I know you didn't do that." Like they said you did, going to court against me, saying that you did that to my daughter, when she never went to court against her son and said anything about him doing anything to her daughter, because it didn't fucking happen, and it was a setup in progress to protect somebody else named 11 who was on their chain and had somebody on his chain who had molested somebody in their past. All right? And I can't keep getting into it because it just gets really sad. And everything is getting broken down into nothing all over again, so they can just restart this game in another way and put her on another globe with all brand new people who don't know her at all, because everybody who was just over here had to submit their transmission all over again on the Interpol, not thinking this is funny, about turning them in for the fucking situation that we're not talking about because of what is happening. Okay, whatever she made it seem like is not the situation. You're not Mexican mafia saying hell El Jefe or nothing. Jared Q, Jared friend. We don't have heat ISIM codes to see if the spirits popped out or not. nothing. It's a lot of proof of everything up here, right? But the bottom line is that somebody called Interpol and told them that Tiffany was that. They literally called them on the phone and told them not to believe anything that they see or hear about Tiffany sticking up for herself and wanting them to be a part of her deity group with a wink next to it. They called Interpol on the phone and had a phone conversation with them in real life and explained to them in here what happens in here stays in here in some stupid department. So they weren't sticking up for Tiffany at all. No, they weren't. Because they thought that something really happened. Okay, well, you want me to call Interpol really quick and get them on the phone? It's not nighttime or nothing. Either way, we're not sticking up for Tiffany enough. Okay, this is Tiffany Browning. No woman did this to her children at all. At all. No woman did this to her children at all. No young lady did this to her children or anybody else's children at all. Because none of this shit happened in real life. It was a setup in progress. And we know how to go down people's timelines in the past and be able to do whatever we're not saying. But we can only do it once. And the information that was in here saying that Tiffany had never hurt another human being on the planet in her life. Ever. Stood for her never hurting her children either. And they were too proud of Tiffany for crossing the bridge illegally against all rules and regulations to say Devil Boy Voice deserved to be there. Because not only did one of those people have molestation in their case, but these people were using these bodies illegally without permission. And not just permission, but they were doing it to humiliate the mom of the same little girl's name that she was trying to do all this for, to make up for lost time doing drugs and needles and just be friends with the one person who had a UE member friend in the sky that said, I don't want him to be with a bitch who does needles, or I don't want to be friends with a girl who does needles. Knowing that they were douchebags, but thought that they would support her being a mom. And she transitioned him into getting off Blue's Clues on fake flow. He wasn't on Blue's Clues, but the person in here was. And maybe transitioning into being a dad with her to the son that he doesn't see often enough because he's busy doing crank or whatever he does or doesn't do in real life, and it might not be his real son, but anyway. Someone else like Sean just said, fuck you, Tiffany, or something. No, they're saying fuck you for some reason. Because that's what they're supposed to say. I don't know if they're saying it at Tiffany or someone else on her team over here. Whatever that was, it was a note. And it said exit. I don't know what the note says. We didn't go back into the Facebook accounts of anybody. She has not checked her Facebook messages to see what they say or nothing, or called AK back. This one that fell here, I read it, and it wasn't from your cousin Sean. It was from someone else saying, fuck you for getting my hopes up for that, when it was not the truth at all up here, or whatever we're not saying. It's not Tiffany in here getting people so upset for nothing at all. That's just it, bro. A bitch who has something to fucking hide for any fucking reason does not call the goddamn Interpol, man. Not only do they pay attention to the airways, but they are the absolute top of the upper echelon in the judicial department that you don't fuck with. And whatever she said to them was legit shit. It wasn't necessarily saying a whole lot, and she doesn't remember what she said. She should probably look it up. I don't think it was an email. I think it was a report. Yeah, well, Tiffany sent one from the ground to somebody, I think. And they probably went up here and tried to change it or do whatever they were doing. They're literally sitting here with Tiffany while she fills these out. And then they fill them out for each one of them like they're the ones who did it. And it's just stupid. They were never sticking up for Tiffany at all. They were literally going against everything Tiffany said, trying to say that it was their idea first and all the shit or whatever they're not saying. And stop looking at Tiffany like she's disgusting and naked, because she's not, because you guys set her the fuck up too for money. Fucking douchebag. Tiffany cannot see you. Okay? And she did not hurt her kids. She did not hurt her grandparents. At all. This shit did not happen in real life. No woman hurt their fucking kids like that. Okay? Ever. On the ground at all. Somebody's smoking dope right now. The one that they hit you, dude, it's sad. It's not from LaShawn at all. It's from someone else who said, fuck you, because how dare you get me excited for something I can't tell about. It's whatever we're not saying. It's like freedom or whatever from whatever they were worried about. And it wasn't really Tiffany saying it at all. It's other people saying it because that's what they were told on this side. It says bad stuff about her. Anyway, she never hurt her kids, bro, and she's not the one in here saying anything to any of you. All right? It was someone else saying it, sticking up for Tiffany in a bunch of different ways. But basically they're saying, how dare you get me excited to whatever we're not saying when you know you did this in the past, when she didn't fucking do that in the past to anyone. It was not a female who did that to their fucking kid. It was a dude. Amanda Burgess calling. Because it's an actual fucking court case in here where the judge stuck up for Tiffany Browning out of her mouth, not knowing who she was. Because he said it was her case, which said that it was a girl who did it, I guess, or maybe it was her husband or somebody else. I don't know, but anyways. Somebody's on the phone up here wondering where Tiffany's at so he can arrest her to ask her questions. All right, well, here's the thing. Why don't you come down here and arrest me? But first you got to meet me out front. Meaning you got to sit in my face like a UE member with a split screen and be able to look at my bedroom and look at you in there so that you can see what I'm not saying out loud. You're going to have to put this body on. And then come back down here. She's not naked, but I am. Literally sitting here naked without my clothes on, getting ready to fuck somebody. I'm super excited about it with a wink next to it. Tiffany's not naked. She did not do any of this. This guy cannot see your split level at all because he's 14 levels up. There's something flying somewhere. It's a rolled up piece of paper. Probably another hate you note, Tiffany. Because you didn't stick up for me when she's not in here to stick up for them. That one was from prison. saying something else like that person. Over here. Who did not do that to her kids. No. Tiffany didn't do that to anyone. No. No female did this to their goddamn kids. I don't know how many times we have to say it. Dude, we've been saying this for months and years. That nobody did this to their kids. But Tiffany never said no female did this to their kids because she didn't know that they were still trying to set people up or just move it from one person to the next, trying to stick up for Tiffany or whatever they were saying. Because when you have it in the computer system, you have to roll it in and roll it out. And that's what I'm saying. That's the system Tiffany was trying to turn in the first place. Because this shit is a bunch of bullshit. None of this shit should be happening. Nobody should be playing games with court cases or whatever else they're not saying. They shouldn't be sitting here blackmailing people in here that if you don't fucking stick up for this person and not say that this person didn't child molest somebody, or not just saying, you know what, bro, I don't know who did this because I'm not friends with them in real life. And I have no idea what happened. But I don't think that my friend Tiffany Browning or this person that I've heard of would have done this when she's the mama bear to 21 flying babies, including baby Anton and baby LaShawn and baby Antonimo Bay, who was not aka the black guy either. It was someone else. That looked like the Titanic guy. In here at first, and he was literally the only person who had his identity changed in here because he was a federal agent, and he did get sucked into pornography up there on the opposite side of Bamboo Day. You're saying fuck you, Tiffany's group. That's not why they're saying fuck you, Tiffany's group. They're just mad because somebody on there has somebody like that on there. And nobody was hiding it either. No, they tried to discredit a bunch of people who were sticking up for Tiffany Browning under a different name, like Tony or someone else, like Mandy or something like that. What? So meanwhile, right. So once again, they've never told Tiffany in her head when they told her they set her up. They never once told Tiffany they set her up to be the child abuser. They said they set her up to look like she made her son do it after they set her son up to hurt Tiffany first because they couldn't use Tiffany in it because she was a UE member up here. That's what that was about when you had your 20-year-old body on. And she has no idea, what they were saying at all. I wish they would have told her because she wouldn't have argued that one. Because if they know for a fact it was something that should have been identified, then, No, they're talking about when a UE member drove her trainer, however they do that back then with the 20-year-old picture when I had blown the smoke out with curly hair. Or one of those other pictures, they literally had went to court in Tiffany's body or however against somebody else on the other side. And then they told her about it, and Tiffany was like, I told you you're not allowed to go to court unless you're sticking up for them, not trying to prove them guilty. But they did not tell her it was about child abuse at all, or else she would have totally agreed with it, because the UE should have known who the child abuser was. And if they would have let it stay in the court like it was, they had to take it out because of what Tiffany said. But if they would have left it in there, and it goes right back to where this was, right? Same how Teresa went to court over here, saying somebody did something, and she said the same thing because she is not thinking of child abuse, because that's not what her responsibilities were. Okay, they told her different things up here, and most of them were literally, I don't know, man. Because, man, she's thinking about people she knows, and she knows nobody. She knows her kids. So the last thing she's thinking of is that Tiffany Browning was going to court against somebody who had abused a child to stick up for Tiffany, because she doesn't know how it works because she's not in here. I know I feel bad, and that's one of the reasons why the UE was mad at Tiffany the other day for seeing her down here smoking a vape pen once with a leaf for brainstem cancer, who still doesn't know she's not in here somewhere at all. Page 3. If you can find it, so look for okay. Screenshot. Whoa. It's not gonna bleed it right. I don't know. Nothing. Because they're acting like her ISIM code is not $1 million situation. That's a good thing when you're doing the right thing with it, but it's not over. On accident. Hold on, I'm trying to find what they're not talking about. Whoa! There was somebody else jumping. I'm trying to find what I sent to the FBI or anything that because this is on somebody else's thing. Right now, see, that was the calculations. $1,314,000 is what I've made, literally, with the man hours that I've been sitting here on the bed, letting these investigations go through my head, killing me and giving me kidney failure and liver failure, all so that I could be a better mom to my kids. For it was the 4 years doing drugs, sitting on my bed, also letting them do the same thing through my head, right? And I've been clean and sober for 2 years that I should have been able to enjoy my money that I didn't ever get with a new car or whatever and a good mom situation, right? And they're all trying to point over here to say this guy didn't do this either. Just wish that you could find the document that we're trying to look for. So just go ahead and tell yourself you didn't do this either, Tiffany. Let it not just backflash on me. That one's not on Tiffany's team. He said, go ahead and tell yourself you didn't do this to yourself, Tiffany. Because they want her to. whatever it is that she's looking for, she's supposed to look for it on here, but she doesn't know how to find it on that screen because she's not them, and they can't send her body because she's on video. It literally is just annoying that she literally has the FBI in one of her iStem codes. Can see it in her iStem codes, the blue nose, and whatever else investigations that they're doing through her body. It wasn't trick photography at all. It was, I can't even explain to you what it was. But anyways. They're saying there's a warrant for your arrest for just victimizing yourself out loud online. Like you're, whatever they're saying, dude. She didn't fucking go online and do nothing. She's literally been sitting here on video for days, 24 hours a day on one source or another. She's not the one in here saying any of that. So it says name, Tiffany Browning. Yes, dating program. Business name. Gave the address. Right? And it says 7, the goddess of war and wisdom. That person does not know that Tiffany didn't do anything wrong and she's not in here. So just so you know. Business size, whatever, the dating program, virtual currency was what was stolen from her in here. Literally, okay? It wasn't quite that much, but it says this on this IC3 form, and it does in fact show them stealing it from the dating program up here. And it wasn't quite that much. But the thing is that she put 1 extra 0 or whatever, we're not saying or 2, because you got to take a 0 or 2 off on the ground. It's not funny because Tiffany's right. Not only are her ISM codes Illuminati numbers, meaning you make $1 million on the ground or whatever, maybe it's 2 million or 5 million in real life, and you can say Illuminati, right? Just like Beyonce said it on the awards show, who is a Christian. Okay, which is why Tiffany said Illuminati ISTEM codes with Alpha to the Omega, because in the Bible it says God is the Alpha to the Omega, right? And so she's got a cross in the middle of it, meaning there's Christianity involved, and it takes out some of the evil people because she by law has the right to say that, and they can literally cancel anybody they want that's a 6, including evil Devil Boy Voice or whoever they want, because they literally are on Tiffany's time right now. And this is a law thing in real life, because Tiffany was trying to change the lives of a lot of people and help them and not get them arrested for stuff they didn't do either. And not just that, she's scared to death for the people in prison, I swear to God, because they are in prison and whatever they're on, their kids die first. Okay, that's why Buddy died, kind of. And the Bible does say something about the firstborn son or the firstborn child dying at the end of the world, kind of. And that we're supposed to send a great white angel to destroy them. It has something to do with the 7 scrolls. Okay? Anyway, so this did say, whatever it says, it might say $100 million. I can't see because there's too many asterisks after it that are blue in the sky. Saving the lives everywhere of everyone with their life force water that she drinks all the time. Like this. Who she believes is the one that gave her the helmet from the sky. So it says, you gotta watch to be a millionaire or be overthrown by Portland FBI. It's Homeland Security threats and security service invasions, top secret, and she sent them a link. I've never been in trouble and I'm upper echelon in the sky being catfished. I'm on an illegal chain that has killed humans and pets from the sky cams, and my eyes blew up nukes in an alternate universe. I need money on my green dot card. I'm a fucking mom that the evil demographic put in here. Need partners from the Secret Service in Washington and FBI, SWAT, CIA, Cyber FBI, and Homeland Security with Marine Corps and Army. And there's another situation right there that is not a movie link, it's something else. And that's pretty much all it says. And it says information about the subject who victimized you. And it says evil hackers through my eyes and my computer screen, because they literally can do it with their eyes. And that's not just for hacking, it's for embezzling money. Because when Tiffany says, look at the stars, when somebody says, look at the stars, Tiffany Brooks Browning, when she looks at the stars, when they say that, they move. Excuse me. But she's not looking at the stars, she's looking at her roof. And when she looks at her roof, sometimes she sees one thing move, sometimes she sees a sprawl out. But when you're really specific, you can see different layers on her roof move in different particular moments. I can't even say how intricate it gets when you can see it through different realms. Okay, because I don't want to go into the history of it because it might redo something to something it's not supposed to. So anyways, it says just watch the videos. You will get it, I think. These are the universe people. Oh, these are other universe people sitting in my body, able to read your table of contents, saying you'll just ignore this and get fired later for it. My illegal IP address is that. And I signed it Tiffany Browning 7 Nina Moon, which is what's on my Facebook. And it's a real report saying that her money was stolen online, that she may or may not owe taxes on through that phone call that she got from the Secret Service saying that they were her deity partner in real life in Washington State. And they need to know that Tiffany never hurt her fucking kids, nor did she break into her apartment at all when it wasn't open with the door boarded up, because that was somebody else who did that, or the back door was still locked. And it was Slappy Happy. It wasn't anybody else. It was Slappy because he was the one that was living there. Unless somebody was going there to look for somebody else. But I highly doubt they'd break into an apartment to beat them up or whatever. We're not saying. But yeah, unless they re-screwed the back door shut when the cops came or whatever, or whatever it was, when Tiffany got let in, she didn't check the back door to see if it was locked. But when Tiffany left the first time and the cops left out the back door too, it was unlocked. And you can't lock it because it's broken. It's on here. Anyway, I think you just watched Familiar. Anyways, this was sent to the FBI. Okay. Federal Bureau of Investigation. And this is why they were pissed. Because Tiffany sent an IC3 form, and these people in here were helping her write it, but they were literally going over and above her head in clearance, sending an IC9 form illegally, saying that they were the ones that owned it, and that Tiffany owned a portion of measurement underneath them or something illegally, and they already knew that what they were saying in here was illegal because they got Tiffany's message first on the ground about it. And so whatever they did in here just made Tiffany look really stupid for letting them do it in here when these are supposedly the same people. Right. The same people that are UE members. I can't even get into it. It's just fucked up. Because Tiffany is not in control of what happens in here whatsoever. And everyone and their mom is against Tiffany. Because they all want to be a millionaire, or they all don't want to go to prison, or whatever we're not saying. So please don't embezzle that splash. See these things on the side? Yeah, I'll see one and I'll get jumping down. There's another one jumping in. These aren't spinning court cases. This is something else. It's little pictures and all kinds of crap. This is literally the UE trying to come down here and tell Tiffany, I'm sorry I set you up too, but someone did me in there first. Life. I'm not depressing myself at all, like at all. And these are different syndicates. And I can't even explain to you that Tiffany is the first one to have ever seen a syndicate in real life. Or two of them. That were not FBI agents at all, like at all. They were not in the child support area. And they did see Tiffany. And they did not think that she'd ever hurt her kids or anything. They were literally identifying her to see who it was that they brought up here. Because they didn't know who was going to be punished later for bringing her up here wrong or something. Right. If she had the name of the lady who brought her up there or tried to, and like wrote her a letter and told her what happened on the ground, her body on the ground probably wouldn't know necessarily, but the one in here would be tripping out like, oh my God, she remembers? That's so cool. Maybe I'll be a part of her dating group and get $1 million. So literally, she's like, you're going to be a millionaire to be a part of my dating group, while also telling them at the same time that the infrastructure, whatever, we're not saying got invaded or whatever. Because she is too the problem in a way, but also the solution for what we're not saying. It's just that they're not. Yeah, this one didn't even say. This one didn't even say how the judicial system was messed up. I thought it did, but it didn't. It was just talking about how it was catfish and everything else. And it did say if you don't pay attention to it, you might be fired. Okay, but that's because it's something different. Because people are dying in real life. And to Tiffany, the judicial system is fucked up. Because when you can force something through to the judges that isn't true about a human being who's never hurt another person on the planet ever, named Tiffany Browning or whoever they were saying over there, because Evil Force or whoever this was within all these players, it's just insane. So anyway, let's go back to where we were. Hopefully we can figure this out. People, or am I supposed to put this? I don't know, I'm not you. It won't work because our video's already on. Am I supposed to click that? I'm not sure. I'm not us. Nothing. She doesn't even know what this is. This isn't about you. It's about the other guy that is this person on the other side who's voting against you, thinking that he's going to get points for whatever we're not saying. This is not just a game of Thrones or war games or whatever. It has literally went global all over the internet to arrest this one woman with spots who is not schizophrenic because she did not hurt her children at all. And knows that Sal and Tony and Soraya and everybody else is not connected like her, not getting information. Anyway, the point is Tiffany's only halfway worried about getting in trouble for whatever this is about the child abuse not being her case and it being someone else's or whatever they're saying. Because the UE promised her that she's exonerated from everything in here, especially child abuse cases, because it was a setup in progress. With that being said, she's not worried at all about the rest of it. That thing behind that is what you're supposed to be looking at. It's because it's layered. It's just depressing because her computer is not. Hello there, green dot card. Thank you for not giving me my $3,000 on it yet. And here, because it won't work like that, you have to sit in Tiffany's body and do it, I think. Anyway, let me just wander and look back on everything that she has or hasn't done in here at all. Because Tiffany's not in here. She's never been in here. And this is trying to get Tiffany in trouble for what she's done in here, what she hasn't done in here with us when she was never in here. Right, so they thought she had this magical connection where she's in here and can be whatever you want to call it, micro dotted up. Anyway, the point is, if she was virtual, okay, she would still be sitting here, but she'd be able to see us if we were in the same realm. And she would kill all of you and everyone else like 1,000 times over because of her memory bank and with us and her brain stems. It would be the sickest thing ever. What the problem is that Tiffany really is just a normal human being on the ground who got the worst iStem codes you could ever imagine for invading privacy and giving her migraines and making her feel like she's going to pass out and literally almost killing her with loss of life forms not being sent with bowling ball head that she threw through the wall in a blue mong bong along with the paper and a pencil that said I didn't do that either. It's just so great. Because they already had all this information in the UE up here when she charged it to the stars and everything that they were saying. And they knew for a fucking fact that Tiffany did not hurt her fucking kids or anyone else. And they just kept ignoring it. And as they're trying to do more and more submit transmissions, right? And they're just not paying attention necessarily. They weren't necessarily getting a ton of money or anything then or whatever investigations they were doing. Tiffany's literally finding different ways with her AI program to trump whatever they're saying in the Game of Thrones or whatever else in different ways to be like, fuck you and your stupid fucking federal investigation. Or what about the United States clause that says we stick up for moms who have never been arrested and never hurt anyone that were set the fuck up for ownership properties of the deity group because she has nobody to be accountable to, because she's never been in trouble, and because she left Portland and stopped talking to everyone in Portland because they're all two-faced punk-ass bitches who do drugs. Even her own best friend backstabbed her on the ground back then and recently. And in here, it looks like her other best friends over here are also backstabbing her. If they are or not is not my concern. My concern is, why is Tiffany on the internet flashing gang signs saying I'm a fucking crip when I'm no Crystal Baker in there? She's not flashing her pussy off the internet, okay? She's not doing that. She's never been in here doing anything sexual or whatever on the black web or whatever they're not saying. And she's not over there flashing gang signs or whatever they do with different situations where we're not saying that either because they're not talking about that. They're talking about the other thing. Wondering why she has the eagle on one side backwards. Because you're not in there. You were supposed to see it the other way. Because hand signals mean a lot to a lot of people. All right? And this one is the eagle, and that means its wing is broken. Okay? And this one was literally a hawk that had secrets on it that may or may not have been like that a little. And when you go like this and you put them together, this one is supposed to be facing this one in the front, like that, not the other way around. And this one should stay like this, and this one should not be like that. It should be like that. And that was standing up for stuff we can't talk about. It's not just money in the federal building and everything else in the No Man Left Behind department. This side is the black cat section. They did not hurt their fucking kids at all, and did turn themselves in for what they didn't do. In the secret society side, where they used the girls' bodies illegally to not just double get off, but maybe have sucked off each other on accident, never thinking that anyone would ever find out, just to see if they would double get off on the other side. And kill Tiffany's internet connection over there in the UAE because of what she's talking about, because she never hurt any kids at all, and she's a good mom. And basically this one to Tiffany is basically the black cat situation, where it was a hawk in here for whatever reason, and it had secret societies on it. Anyway, go away, ugly man. Wait, he's our friend. This one is, not that one. Alright, so my name's Tiffany, and I'm not crazy at all. Look at all over here saying that I did this to my kids when I was younger, because that's someone else saying it. Literally, they're saying it over there, knowing that Tiffany looks like herself right here, with a scab on her chin, because she's got two bodies on, connected to her, chemically, literally, and nobody can fucking believe that at all, that it's possible to do that to a human being. So they're not even thinking about the fact that we are literally chemically connected with these fucking skins without our permission, because we did not know that that's what happens when you make somebody look at the stars or whatever we're not saying. Or that you can get a fucking STD or a, what is it again? I'm sorry, we're not supposed to be kissing. This is Tiffany Browning on the ground, and I look naked all over the internet. Okay, and not just that, but they're making me look like I was something like that, like a illegal porn star or something, and I wasn't very cute, and I never would have showed my body naked illegally. They went ham, bro. It's just fucking insane that these motherfuckers would do this to a woman and show her kids naked or whatever they're saying over there on the black web, like she's trying to sell child pornography or whatever. And if that's even what they're trying to do, because if they're not, they're trying to sell real pornography. But Tiffany's a UE member, so they're seeing the kids on this side. It's so demented, because when they said don't hold of Tiffany, they told her they were selling child pornography. And I'm not there, but I didn't see what they sold either. And it probably wasn't child pornography. It just looked like fucking kids to us on this side, because we don't see through their eyes. We see through Tiffany's eyes, who sees kids over there. This is Exxon calling and wants to know why we weren't that guy's friend. Because we didn't tell Texaco where to drill. When Chuck Vanderweg wasn't sticking up for Tiffany, who didn't sell the coins just like he thought she would for the same thing he didn't want her to. Yeah, but she was told by us that they weren't worth anything anyways. They were only their own face value, or 1.5 times it. And she did not want to sell them at all. She felt so guilty, you have no idea. With that being said, she's pretty sure she can buy a new coin collection worth $1 million, just like her stogies that she didn't buy up there to the UE legally, with her $1 million bottle of scotch that she didn't send a big voice in the sky up here in this alternate reality that nobody on the fucking ground realizes exists, and they live out lifelines, and they're not even real people at all, because they're not. It's not a real people thing up here. It's an alternate universe that doesn't exist, in real life. It just doesn't exist. That's why you don't own an S corporation for something that doesn't exist. Because it doesn't fucking exist. It's literally Blackwater meets Roswell. Okay? Stuff you don't fucking talk about. Or else you get blacked out. Or rode off with your lock not there. Nobody is more scared right now than UNICEF. Because Tiffany thought UNICEF was Interpol. Knowing for a fact that Tiffany was a UE member who did not hurt these children. And the UE knew for a fact too, even the lifelines up here knew when they gave Tiffany all these lifelines or whatever for these people in here. They knew then too that she didn't do that either. And it is just so fucking annihilatingly fucked up. Because now they want to give her $1 million, but then they're going to make it look like she did it because why? I don't remember what I was saying. I got distracted. That one's going to be like, Mom, because I look naked. No, because right now it's showing her daughter naked on the other side. You guys need to fix this really quick. Why is it showing her daughter naked? It's because it's a picture of her and her kids and they look naked because she's naked or looking naked. I don't know. Anyway, this is not illegal as fuck at all because they're literally embarrassing Tiffany sitting here naked. Not just that, but they're literally showing Tiffany looking naked right now while she's alive on YouTube, not naked at all, reading something that she wasn't supposed to read out loud on live TV. Because this bitch don't fucking care, bro. She has kids and she was set the fuck up for M&R cases with Eston Ape, and she knows for a fact she's right about what she's saying. She has every right to lay claim to the deity group being a trillionaire situation that is the savior program that is going to save these people to not die in real life or whatever they're not saying. Because Buddy died, who is a dog, and Ashley's son died too with the red hair. That's the only two people Tiffany knows for sure that died. And they said somebody named King died too. And I don't know if that's for sure or not. At all. Right. So nobody is selling illegal porn of children or whatever they're saying online. Over there, they were literally selling donut hole porn. And the keyword was because Tony was in it, not Tiffany or her daughter or her other daughter. It was not kid porn at all. It was just a way to get a hold of Tiffany to make it look like they were selling kid porn on the other side. Because on this side they were selling porn, but on the other side it looked like a fucking kid situation, just like it does right now. And now we can see the connection between a mother and her kids. And we wish Tiffany was in here right now to hug her fucking kids that aren't really in here. It's just depressing that the law enforcement agencies and stuff don't know that Tiffany pronounced this session not guilty. Where Tiffany never hurt her kids. Because we're going against the grain here. She's literally saying this on YouTube. And there's a bunch of people in here paying attention. But they're not looking at Tiffany's YouTube. They're looking at our YouTube up here. Or we're not sticking up for this one with the scabby face at all. Because we think this is the one responsible for everything, because it's literally a reflection of Tiffany. Okay? And it's not even that there's a camera right there. It's because she is a UE member. Alright? And it's not this right here. It's the picture-in-picture thing that is, in fact, a UE member helmet called... There was the Anunnaki helmet and the UE helmet. Nothing. We're getting in trouble because we set up Tiffany on the other side for money, dude. No, I'm a UE member and I didn't set up Tiffany at all. I just didn't want my wife to know because we never had sex or anything when she was beautiful up here. They all feel like their bodies on the ground know what's going on, but they don't necessarily. They did kind of, cover up for criminals or whatever. But I'm telling you right now, as illegal as it is, and now they're trying to say it is illegal because of the way it was done, all right? It was not all the way illegal at all. Because in the echelon, when you do it right, okay, you are allowed to protect certain people that are informants that may or may not have messed up. And trying to change their life for the better, to get rid of more criminals on the street, but not by fucking killing them on Blue's Clues like Will in prison or jail from Brood. And he's not dead in real life either, I don't think. And then somebody asked, well, did he die of Blue's Clues? And that's why Sarah's daughter died of Blue's Clues? Like Anthony said. I mean, okay. No connection. Just... There's like a with your hands up situation. Nothing. We're not sticking up for this ugly bitch with a scab on her chin over here in the Brood department because she didn't stick up for me in court when I could see her looking at me. When it's not her looking at you, honey, because she can't see you. It's someone else with her facial expression coat on. That it was the guy on her head who set her up. And he's not allowed to say nothing because now he's FBI. About to get arrested in real life. It's just... There's so many clubs up. Because it's daytime where I'm at. And I'm in Arizona. And yeah, it is only 12 o'clock, so unless it's 1 in the morning there, I really don't know. See the time frame. Right, so how do we fix all this, right? Oh, I know how to fix it. We're just not allowed to do it because they already submitted transmission again against Tiffany one more time for breaking the rules. There's somebody else's rate right here. Please take it somewhere different. It's not for a female, it's for a guy. Remember when they let all those rapists and molesters out of prison? Right? When Tiffany was sitting on her bed and they said they let 10 of them out and then replaced them with Tiffany's. And you're all saying that she took their charges or some shit. But one of them was really gross, like Peter from Slut Mickey. Remember? Yeah, okay. Well, he is in here and he is demented as fuck. And he is still in prison. But in here, he's walking around like a real person. And it's not a real person. It's just gross. What? I'm not SWAT either. And I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch Tiffany for being a rat with the wig next to it. I fucking love this bitch. I can't even tell you I love this bitch. I gotta go. Because Tiffany refused to let them do something. Because Tiffany's ugly as fuck, but she didn't say anything wrong at all. Not that we're letting people take turns to come down and see Tiffany naked if they do or don't see her for the rest of their life. Because the cops are coming tomorrow to arrest Tiffany here at her mom's house with a warrant so huge you can't even imagine. Because they have videos in here of Tiffany breaking into her office. Recently, with checks that were cashed by somebody else. Somehow, I can't even tell you how weird it is. It's just fucked up. That's just it. Tiffany's not up there at the judge's office. I wish she was, because she would be able to say the right thing. And the right thing was, you did not have permission to watch me, listen to me, record me, or write me down, let alone set up anybody else or catch them or whatever you're not saying, unless that's how it was supposed to look. And that's why we get depressed, because we don't know which one's which. But anyways, the point is, they've been doing investigations for Tiffany Browning's brain stems and her eye stems, okay, for 2 years from Vancouver, Washington. No, from Vancouver, Washington for 2 years. She's lived here for 2 years, and we've been doing it through her eye stem codes and everything for 2 years since she got the right ones to solve the problem and everything else in here, which is great if you're Tiffany on the ground who's working for the FBI or the CIA in real life, virtual reality. But she's not. She's right here on state cam saying, this is Tiffany Brooks Browning. I never hurt my kids with a whap, wham, and whack. Like beat them to death. Like evil Lucinda fists. Fuck. Nothing, dude. This is the wrong one we're sticking up for. There is not a woman who hurt her fucking children, bro. No. There was an evil Celinda that I can't talk about, and now they're saying was me, which literally had the demons in it from the Devil Boy voice that Tiffany let out of hell when she was reaching for an angel to have her back behind her back or help her with whatever was going on, but she can't see us. Can you tell you could we not go there because they're both so scary? Remember? Hi, Tiffany. So scary. Leave Michael in there. I can't go there, man. It's too scary. Nothing. We all feel happy and sad at the same time. It's just that she doesn't have emails or know who to bless when she doesn't get her millionaire money because she's a felon who's going to prison. There's no way she could actually get a warrant for something she didn't do in real life. It doesn't fucking matter at this point what they did or didn't see on a video. If it wasn't real time caught outside in Portland, Oregon, they're not allowed to use it from satellite cams or whatever. They're definitely not allowed to use it inside unless one of them was an informant who had given them permission to set them up in real life. All right. And the simple fact that they had to go back in time and do whatever, like all that stuff is just ridiculous. Like AK said, if it didn't happen, don't worry about it. And the only reason why she was worried about it is because we were making her be worried about it. And it wasn't just because she couldn't get her money for anything that she didn't do in here, because she didn't do anything in here at all. She did stuff right here. Sitting here, once again, embarrassed and humiliated all over the internet for praying in the secret place and letting us use our brain stems for wish and missions or whatever we're not saying to do the right thing in the right ways to help the community of measurement. The said our people are already one thing we can't talk about, so they're fine. But anyway, that's not what we're not saying, because nobody is that. Okay, nobody's that. Right. So while certain people were in here trying to set up other people, Tiffany was trumping everybody for the same reason we're not saying out loud. because whoever it was that she may or may not know, and certain things that we can't talk about, right? Not including Chimo shit from one guy, I mean 2 guys or whatever, because that's kid shit. You're supposed to persecute. But the point is that and they already did, and he's not even in here anymore. So with that being said, it's fine. But anyways, the point is Tiffany was literally trying to trump whatever it was that they were doing in here to set people up that would make Tiffany look like a rat tail on her own people or her own friends' people, because she did not marry Anthony Ciaz at all, because she didn't want to give him permission or anybody else permission to look through her eyes to set somebody up or informant them or whatever, because she's not a rat. She's never been in trouble, and she loves everybody on the planet. She does not have enemies. She's the sweetest person in real life. And the last thing she needs is a report card saying she's not on YouTube right now, saying this out loud. That snitching on a snitch is still a snitch. And rats are rats, and they deserve snitches get stitches from Uncle David's community of measurement that goes right back to Mozart Hero. And Tiffany headbanging to fling her wing off for a different reason. See, that's what I'm saying, man. Whoever it is or isn't, they do switch roles or whatever. But one Chimo, okay, that's not even alive anymore. It's somebody else that rolled into his body. Okay, he's in jail for it, all right, in real life. But whoever his person that rolled into it is felt so bad that he was going around sticking up for Tiffany Browning behind people's back, all right, and they keep persecuting whoever he was or whatever because they thought she was that, but she's not, and it's just gay. And we all feel bad too. But anyways, we got to go somewhere different because Tiffany's still online over there in Oregon saying I'm not in Oregon. I'm in Vancouver, Washington, where I told the cops to send my fake warrant that's not going to come to me because I didn't do that in real life. And they stole my identity, saying I was Anthony Ciaz, setting up that kid that lived upstairs for breaking into the bedroom that we're not saying. And I didn't child abuse anyone. Because she's on YouTube now for 3 days talking about some random ass shit that does not make sense to anybody else on the ground that has not watched the videos at all. But if they did and they were UE, they would be tripping because they would see different people in and out of Tiffany's face up here if they were on Tiffany's line. Not to say there's not other people coming in and out of Tiffany's face that she doesn't know who they are, or we don't either. Because these ones are Robotrons. I mean AI programs in the AEIONU with the sparkly top of the echelon pyramid being removed completely to go over here to Soraya Rain, Caballero Cortez, who's sitting at San Antonio's right now, probably sleeping, maybe getting ready for school in the morning tomorrow, but not right now, and dreaming right this minute about her mom getting her Lambo and being able to pick her up from school one day without bumping too hard. And they don't like it because the UE is in their ears saying you can't listen to music that loud or you're going to break your kids' eardrums when they love the music in the car when they were little. It's just so sad. Because everybody's mad because Tiffany used to bump in the car, whether Soraya loved it or not, because Tiffany's a mom and she does what she wants. Kid, you're in my car. It's not breaking your eardrums, right? All right. Anyway. Nothing. They just want to pick so many different things about Tiffany about being a bad mom. And Tony never smoked marijuana in the fucking car with the kid. And even if she did, who gives a fuck? It's marijuana, dude. He's not going to sit back there and get stoned while he's sleeping. I'm sure she's blowing it out the window. It's not cocaine. These double triple rings in my face. It's not that because the And you're welcome, whoever we're not saying, and we're welcome, whoever we're not saying. And I really hope that this does go to the ground that way. There goes your brain meat again with black in it, and a hand pointed at you. You haven't seen it pop in like that for a while, huh? Not for like 2 days. It's because we're split in so many different directions. It's not even funny. And I have to keep my eyes closed in front of the UE camera right now up here because I look naked, and it's not that they're looking through the YouTube channel. There's something different. Just show for a second. I'm not rock hard right now because of what they're putting in my facial expression code. And when they do that, it's not a UE helmet with the thing down in front of their face or a sidewinder from it either. It's something else where they can just see it in front of them. They did not put a bunch of situations in these people's faces to show them what was being done, and then they see a picture of Tiffany and it looking like shit with her eyes open or closed. Who knows if you fix your pants really quick or any of this stuff. Anyway, none of us love Tiffany Browning at all, which means we love Tiffany because it's the opposite of that. And there's a bunch of random stuff going out. And I don't know on the ground really what happened over there when she called to report that somebody had stolen her identity in real life. Okay, mixed with that comment that AK said or whatever, that did get rid of some stuff in real life or whatever, but it should not have landed on her head either because literally Tanika was in prison or jail when that box was dropped off, and she never returned back to the apartment at all. Because they had already grabbed all of her clothes and everything from there because they thought, or because they knew that she had gotten evicted or they had gotten evicted or whatever already after she got out or somewhere before she got out. So Tanika never went back to the apartment. And Tiffany literally called out Slappy Happy like she was Tanika, saying you better get your illegal shit, including this printer and whatever else that you may or may not have gotten from wherever you did or didn't get it, whether you broke in there or not, the fuck out of this apartment or put it back, because we're not going to prison for you, cat litter. He's not saying I can't help you anymore because your power source, he thinks she did something that she didn't do. Okay, so he thought she was in here, but her power source was on her mom, so he's trying to look through her mom's eyes and seeing that she's watching TV and doesn't know that she didn't do anything. So I just said it to him. I don't know if he got the message. He was trying to help her prove her case up here to the UE that she didn't do anything like that. And we're not on his line. We could have just pulled him down here, but I heard him. It's upside down shoe with a girding on. No, I don't want to be down here. I was just sticking up for Tiffany, but I'm not going to anymore because what I heard is too hard about the pornography online where she's not selling shit And she didn't put nothing out online. She's never sold her body for drugs or sex or nothing. She's never sold anything. She's the one that said you're not allowed to use my body illegally. And they literally did this on purpose to make her look like the biggest piece of shit. And Tiffany's not in here, sir. She's right here. Right in front of the Google. I'm the whatever we're not saying. It keeps popping up because you're supposed to say something or do something here, but it doesn't work because she doesn't have the screen that we have. Do somebody? You want to see it? Whatever. No, I don't want to see the. No, gross. It's not doing it. It's not. This one was Kat right here is the one that's not in trouble because she's the one who called Interpol and the FBI and all this stuff, but they're not going to give her $1 million at all. With the wink next to it, they're not going to give her $1 million at all because she has to split it with a UE member who's going to remember for the rest of their life that they still don't make their body on the ground and they're not depressed about it at all. Like, oh. $500,000 is fine, right, Tiff? Yeah. As long as I'm splitting it with a UE member on the ground or whatever that remembers that this has to be cleared in the judicial system. I'm not just going to get money. First of all, it's a lot harder to say anything about somebody who's not in here anymore named Kraus, who said he did not do this to his daughter at all because he was set up kind of, or that it happened on accident in here, right? When he was setting up Tiffany for calling him a red devil boy voice or whatever, because it wasn't Tiffany calling him that, it was them calling him that anyway. Exxon is gas. Because they can't reach their bodies on the ground. That's why it's UE, because it's hard. Because they don't really reach their bodies on the ground. So, the ones that she saw, the see-through people, okay, they were people that know what happened, okay? So their bodies on the ground know what happened because they can fill out reports and shit. But those are probably the only two people that know what happened in real life about any of it necessarily, because UE is in fact literally it's people that can sit in your body or maybe give you an idea of, oh, go ahead and push this loan through, or oh, just give them some grace or something like that, like helping people usually. And the rest of it is law enforcement literally looking through people's eyes, setting them up like an informant. And that's it. Where that's why it gets messed up, because when Tiffany's a UE member, law enforcement or the UE or the women or whatever, if they would have just taken the time to try to figure out where this might go when Tiffany made the phone call, when homeboy was on the phone with her, right? And they pushed 2 buttons and they said, don't worry about it because we got this or whatever, right? They didn't necessarily go over there or whatever, they did. But it just didn't work out because of whatever they said about the court thing or whatever. and said that she watched the video and she saw it with her own eyes. That Tiffany broke into the office. That she didn't break into at all. And once again, she did too send them a video explaining about the office situation, but she never said anything about breaking into it. Because Big Bucket of Bullets called and said you can't say Slappy Happy. Whatever they had submitted transmission on or whatever, we're not saying, like, to squash the whatever charges that were floating in the sky or whatever in the game, because they were multiply put in here and a bunch of weird shit. And the problem is that if we could have just turned the game off, right, and then whatever was in the sky or whatever it was or wasn't that they had to cipher through or whatever, and we just demolish it by banishing it or whatever and pretend like it doesn't exist, it would have been great and way less work for a lot of people. And that's what we should have done. Because after that first time, with that first ball that was submitted in Oregon, right? Even the Breakfast Club situation should not have been submitted because it was through Tiffany Browning's brainstems. And the threat Lou have noticed to keep saying, I'm sorry, Tiffany, I didn't mean to set you up. It's not what we're not saying, but Tiffany's literally saying the right thing. She wanted the game to end and smash it out, not just for the humiliation and everything, but because it was killing people in real life, like the dog Buddy and a few other people. And it may or may not have killed kids and firstborn of inmates in prison that weren't being watched and having a dog put in front of them so that Slappy didn't get killed or whatever. Or because Slappy was going to get killed, but his dog was his dog. Or because Tiffany looked at it. I can't even tell you what it is or isn't because we don't know, but it probably was too because Tiffany looked at it because it pulled him in here. Just stop her. It's just so complicated. Anyway, we're done sticking up for Tiffany Browning. Okay, there's just supposed to be something that she does on this thing, but she doesn't know what it is, and neither do we. And the people that are able to do it or whatever are not here anymore because they were tired of waiting for her to read the other thing she was supposed to read out loud, which wasn't this at all, I don't think. There's a bunch of different things you wrote, right? Yeah, well, they wanted you to read something else about. Not this one. It wasn't the jumping off the house or whatever either. This is a bunch of cool shit about ownership and stuff, about whatever we're not saying, and how she didn't describe anything necessarily. This is a good one right here. I mean, it's basically just read it. I don't know what the other one is. This one says, this one was copied off of the internet, I think. It says YouTube. So this was verbiage that was said on a video on YouTube that they copied onto here or whatever, I think. This isn't the one they want you to read. It's a different one. It might not have been in the prelim folder. What's prelim mean? Preliminary? Something. Screenshot. Don't scan her ID. Because I did have the win from the thing on it too. It didn't piss me off for nothing to know that it was through Tiffany that all this happened. When we're literally over there dissing her and shit. And it's literally, even if it was just trade for goods and services in here, it was supposed to be something different. Um, I don't know. Maybe you guys can just read it for me. There is one of my emails that I sent to the CIA or the FBI or whatever. It literally was like 4 pages long, and it's the one that had all the tag notes in it. And that's the one we're not talking about. So that one says a lot of stuff, and they did get it, and they did not pay attention to it at all because of what it said in the sky about her being a complete whatever. Because she didn't mention that at all. But I mean, if you think about it from the ground game situation, people who have done something like that do not talk to law enforcement about nothing, ever. They certainly don't in part of their deity program / Empress Division that protects children with a virtual CPS helmet that got messed up and ended up setting her up for the same thing. At all. Nothing. I'm just pissed. I can't even take it. Because this is Tiffany, and she saved my life, whoever I am. I'm not going to keep saying it on YouTube. But she saved my life in a different way, and I'm not accepting Jesus or nothing, but just saying thank you, Tiffany. You're welcome. Wait, you don't have to thank a UE member. Right, but you're not really supposed to be on the ground still. No, he said thank you, but he didn't know she didn't do anything wrong. Really? Mm-mm. Okay, well, Tiffany didn't do anything wrong to anyone. She never hurt her kids. She didn't ever hurt her kids? No. She's a UE member in a different way. Anyway, what we're worried about is that whatever it was over there in Portland, it's going to come over here to Washington if it's not already over here. And it is basically a P1 or whatever, where they can extradite you from Washington to over there. But that kind of stuff, it's not even a warrant. They will just come and arrest you. In real life, it's like, yeah, come on in and see that I have no kids here. What are you talking about? There's a warrant for my arrest for whatever you're talking about. I don't even have any kids, or I don't even do that, or whatever they're not saying. because they can't extradite her to Oregon for anything involving IDs or nothing. As a matter of fact, they were never supposed to put it in the court systems whatsoever, because it was her CPS helmet that got her in trouble in the first place. And it wasn't her that did it, it was someone else setting her up because they wanted to keep using her CPS helmet in the boom boom room because they could read each other's minds about what the other person wanted done to them in there. And that's what Tiffany was trying to say, but she could never get it out. It was not set up in progress. That was the Anunnaki helmet, which was the opposite of that, which they probably made it to undo the first one or something. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Well, I'm done sticking up for Tiffany. I'm sick and tired of all these women thinking that they hurt their kids now when they didn't, and nobody hurt their kids, and hopefully it goes to the ground that this bitch is still a fucking millionaire, but she has to split it with somebody in law enforcement. Yeah, we're still saying we want it to be Secret Service because they're the only ones that know what's going on. We think. Yes, yeah. You know, these people are sticking up for somebody named Tiffany like they're supposed to, but they might think that another woman did this to their kids and they blame Tiffany, but they didn't. This to their kids, it has to do with the CPS helmet that Tiffany carried in here to cover her player up here when she was Katrina. Whoever it was. Anyway, okay, I'm going to turn this off now. Tiffany wants to go to bed. These are different things. No. Did you ever fill that out the other day? No, I should have. I don't think I had time. If I did, I might have forgot. I don't know if you did get around to this one. You should have, because it was an FBI thing over there for points or something. All right, well, I'm going to get off YouTube now because nobody cares about this stupid YouTube video when she looks like shit. And just got 20 million people watching. Oh, God, you look so horrible, darling. I don't know. You should see me when I'm ready, though. I'm not bad. Mediocre at best. I just miss my kids. I miss my babies. I'm sad I didn't get to get them Christmas presents for nothing, and no woman did this to their kids. That one was going to say, I'm glad I got to get my kids Christmas presents and not you. You murderer, they said. Anyway, I'm going to end this now.